Trying to get published is a bit like being stuck in one of those Escher paintings with an endless staircase. Twisted, confusing, wondrous, all the adjectives. If you're on the edge of giving up, trust me, you're not alone. And what makes it all the more difficult are the predators
lurking in every corner.
But before we expose these wolves, we need to understand how traditional publishing actually works. And this includes everything from polishing your manuscript to finding the right literary agents that will help you along your way. You know, people who actually respect your work and are gonna get it out to the masses. Whether you're attempting to make somebody laugh through romance comedy, or exploring the dark reaches of the human mind through a splatter horror story set at a daycare. Okay, I was in kind of a dark place when I wrote that. The path to publication is difficult. The journey of getting your work on bookshelves begins way before the title is even decided. The first thing you'll need naturally is a polished manuscript. What? A truly polished manuscript is your golden ticket to catching an agent or publisher's attention.
Come with me and you'll see.
Before you send any queries out, make sure your work is thoroughly vetted. Use beta readers, AutoCrit, and a human editor to make it really sparkle. It can be difficult getting your work in front of a publishing house in the first place.
Nobody is getting published without an agent. Not nobody, not no how.
A compelling query letter is not only a pitch for your book, it's also a pitch for you, the author. Remember, agents and publishers are not just investing in a single work. They're investing in you, the hopes that you will have a successful and long career. Once the manuscript is deemed ready by both the author and the agent, it's time to face the infamous, dreaded slush pile. Also known as the pile of manuscripts currently stacked in the publisher's office. Standing out in this pile requires some strategy. It's not just about having a compelling story, it's about having the right story at the right time, what publishers are currently trying to buy. Once the manuscript catches the eye of an agent or a publisher, the real work begins. Contracts are negotiated and signed, and the author is often involved in decisions about the book's title and marketing angles. This, of course, is critical. It's how your book is going to be presented to the rest of the world. First-time authors should be prepared to work closely with their publishing team. There'll be several rounds of revisions, cover design choices, and marketing strategies. Of course, all of this makes a huge difference in whether or not your book gets picked up by the average person. Ultimately, this partnership is about you and the publisher bringing a fantastic product to market. That's what this is all about, right? Well, not just that, but getting your work in front of readers who will appreciate it. You can expect several rounds of revisions of your manuscript where you continue to polish and perfect your writing. You're also going to get feedback specific to current market trends, audience expectations. You know, welcome to the world of being a working artist. And don't be surprised if you're not entirely happy with your book cover. I mean, do you really think I would prefer my thumbnails look like this? The point of a cover is to alert the audience that, yes, this book is for me. I would like that book. And you'll notice that covers tend to look very similar across genre. Take a look next time you're at an airport. The next step is to introduce you to the world. This might include interviews, signings, becoming a sign spinner for a day. Yeah, that was a weird publishing house. It's really all of this stuff that makes people want to traditionally publish in the first place. I mean, sticking your book on Amazon certainly is easier, right? But when you have a whole team dedicated to market your book and industry experts to assist you along the way, well, it feels easier, at least if you can get in. Competition is fierce, and even if you have a great story, there's no guarantee you're gonna get it at the right desk at the right time. You might be able to find a little bit of a backdoor in a smaller publishing house that doesn't require an agented submission. But even then, it's tricky, and spots are limited. This is why a lot of authors decide to just self-publish. Yeah, I know, it's scary. You have to find a printer, you have to do your marketing, you have to figure out your book cover, you have to make sure the work is even polished all on your own. But it does give you more control over your final product. Regardless of which path you take, remember, Knowing is half the battle. And that takes us back to the shark circling in the ocean, also known as the book publishing industry. Rather than speak in generalities, I have a real-world example of a
predatory publisher.
This is from what is often referred to as a vanity press, with a member of our team having a family member that almost signed. We'll keep the individual names and book title aside. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. So let's set the scene. A few facts about the book in question. The book was written with ChatGPT, which is really obvious when you look at the manuscript. It's steeped in editorial problems, not surprising, like tense shifts, change in POVs out of nowhere, and a lot of repetitive language. Pretty much all of the novel's 67,000 words are heavily summarized. You know, the old tell, don't show advice that you hear all the time. There's entire sections with just summaries of characters and action, and we're not really experiencing anything. In other words, the book isn't good. But that didn't stop our so-called publishers from wanting to publish it. At a price, of course. The dream of finally having your manuscript published is so strong it can lead you right into the arms of predators who would
love to take your money.
They have great promises of fame and success. All for a minor fee, of course. There's an easy principle that can help you detect these scams in a heartbeat. In traditional publishing, money flows to the author, not from the author. As we said earlier, when a traditional publisher signs you, they are taking a gamble. They are investing in you. You're not the one doing the investing, and that's why it's so difficult to get their attention. It means they can't just take any work, not even works they appreciate or find artistically interesting. They have to take works that they're confident are going to perform in the marketplace. And as you can imagine, that can mean not wanting to take as many artistic risks, not wanting to capitalize on what could be too small of a niche. But before you harp on them too much, keep in mind they're doing a lot of work for you. They're helping you with your editing, they're getting a professional book cover, they're putting together a marketing strategy for you. And often you get an advance, you know, like money up front. What they don't do is ask you for money up front. Can we get a red flag? Yeah, red flag. In the case of vanity publishing, things are different. Just take a look at this. Now, the author here is a UK resident, so the prices are in British pounds. But if you're paying close attention, you'll notice another red flag. The VAT is 23%, when it really should be 20%. And that's because while this publisher purports to be based in the UK, they really appear to be based in Poland. And this isn't even the worst I've seen. I've seen quotes over $2,000. And keep in mind, this manuscript is trash. It's not going to sell in the marketplace. It's not going to give this author any fame, fortune, or even anything. It's just going to fall to the bottom of the pile, back into the alleys of Amazon, where nobody sees you ever again. So, altogether, what are some red flags we should be looking for when vetting publishers? Vague promises of success while asking for payment up front. Again, this is not common for publishers or agents. Predators may claim they have some sort of inside scoop or inside track, but usually those claims are unsubstantiated, and you'll just be out some money. Lack of selectivity in accepting manuscripts. If somebody seems really eager to publish your book without doing a thorough review, that's a bit sketch, isn't it? Shouldn't they be concerned at the very least of the reputation of the name of the publisher, let alone the idea that, you know, publishers like to make money, and to make money you need like a quality work? The publisher takes submissions yet responds with a bill. This is a bit of a trick used by publishers. You'll get an email saying, "Congratulations, you've been accepted by our publishing house," and then respond with a bill. This is a cynical trick used where they act like they are vetting your work, and they make a big to-do about you being finally approved and all this wonderful grand pomp and circumstance about being part of their publishing house, and then the bill comes. Sure, you get to keep 100% of your royalties, They're not concerned that it's going to make money because they probably know it's not very good. Exorbitant fees for services like editing, book design, or marketing. Let's be honest, self-publishing does involve costs. You are investing in yourself and not relying on traditional publishing houses to do it. But keep in mind, these costs should be reasonable. And package deals often don't present new authors with the best deal to be found. Instead, they provide a one-stop shop that's convenient, but doesn't actually reflect the industry standard for these services. The publisher approaches you out of the blue. Unless you're blazing up the charts in Amazon or you're some sort of established name in the self-publishing world, this is just not going to happen. If a publisher is sliding into your DMs, just tell them to slide on out. The publisher includes marketing fees, but has no presence. You may want to take a moment to look and see whether or not this company that is charging you exorbitant marketing fees actually is good at marketing. The publisher we're talking today has only 1,000 followers on X and less than 1,000 on Facebook. Low views, no engagement. In other words, they don't know how to market. I'd be curious to take a look at that marketing department. It only takes a simple search to find out if a publishing house has a marketing presence or if they've published any other books and are those books actually performing? You can also look at their marketing assets and whether or not they're just copying and pasting and using cookie cutter formulas found on Fiverr for a few bucks. If it's a sketchy publishing house, you're not going to be very impressed. Extremely fast publishing promises. It's annoying, but prepping a book for publishing takes a long time. It's not just about getting the manuscript polished and ready, it's about finding the right time to release. Now, publishing professionals know this. This publisher promised a release date within 3 weeks. 3 weeks! 3 weeks is barely enough time for a company to cut and paste a document together and slap some simple formatting on it, let alone anything decent. A lack of clear submission guidelines. Again, reputable publishers are picky. They're not going to just allow anything. So if the publishing company you're submitting to doesn't have any clear guidelines, ding, 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 red flag. They offer little to no constructive feedback on your work. I hate to break it to you, but your work ain't perfect. No, I think we all understand this. But the point is that a professional publisher is going to give feedback. They're going to help you improve your product. They're not just going to slap it out there without any assistance whatsoever. Again, they're putting their name on it. Don't they want it to be quality? Excessive flattery. Yes, you would expect even professionals might be complimentary, excited about working with you, but they're not going to go on and on about how amazing it is or wax eloquent as if you've just cured cancer. You should be able to tell the difference between over-the-top praise and reasonable excitement. They discourage you from seeking advice or representation from agents. Why would they be so nervous about a second opinion, eh? Perhaps it's because they know that an agent would see right through their scheme. It is very normal within the publishing world to work with authors who have agents, so if they're weirded out by that, you should be weirded out by them. Now that being said, don't get the idea that paying is always a bad thing. There are plenty of industry professionals that want to make a living and have wonderful services that will help your book's success. If you intend on publishing independently, you're probably going to need to hire these people. Self-published authors often pay developmental editors, formatters, book cover designers, you know, standard expenses, the sort of thing that a traditional publisher has to do, which is why they're so picky in the first place. You don't have to be suspicious when a freelancer wants to be paid for their services. That's called keeping the lights on in their house. What you need to look out for would be things like portfolios, references, anything that can make them seem like a good hire. Essentially, you're starting a business. In short, if you're going to self-publish, you're going to need some help. And that's okay. But when you look for services, look for something that says it's an author service. And hopefully one that comes well recommended by other authors or has a great portfolio. But you don't want a company that pretends to be a publishing house with a swanky old school logo that will just make you jump through hoops. These sharks will scoop up your cash like a lot of chum and then swim away while your book slowly drowns in a pitiful death in the despair of Amazon's back pages. It's easy to let your dream about seeing your book on the bookshelves cloud your judgment, but be cautious and find support. If you're an AutoCrit Pro member, you can join our writing groups, and we vet these sort of things all the time. We also recommend author services to one another. You've spent a lot of time on this creative effort, so get the love and respect you deserve. Your name needs to be attached to a solid product that will reach readers, build up a fan base, and perhaps a legacy for you. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us. We're always there to help you avoid these predatory practices. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna need a bigger boat.